You ever see a game that looks kinda good, but then you play it and it just completely falls flat? Void Bastards is the definition of lukewarm. It claims to be inspired by System Shock 2 and BioShock, but there's very little reminding me of those games. Instead, there's a few roguelite mechanics slapped together that make for an appealing concept, but it just doesn't offer much depth. You, as a series of rehydrated prisoners, navigate a procedurally generated series of drifting spacecrafts, looting everything you can. You use that loot to craft, and that's about it. Although you can set pins to help a little bit, you can't see enough of the stupid map to really plan out a course. It often doesn't feel like you really even have a choice where you can go, and sometimes it just screws you. Exploration is just out of the question. Not that it even matters, because most of the stages feel exactly the same as each other, and there really are not enough of them. You don't even want to go into them a lot of times. The enemies are not particularly fun to interact with. Some of them are just giant bullet sponges. Others run away. At least one is not worth dealing with at all, and none of them will shut the f*** up. Early weapons don't feel good. They have bad accuracy even at close ranges, and ammo is random. It's very limited, and it feels terrible when you miss. This, along with the annoying enemy design, makes combat best avoided. Thankfully, you can take a lot of hits and outrun most of the enemies, and the crouching is pretty OP. Inexcusably late, you start seeing more interesting variations of the stages and enemies. Nowhere near enough, but they do make the game better. The later weapons are more satisfying to use and synergize with each other in fun ways. The ammo RNG had me feeling unprepared a lot, but that's more fun than not wanting to use the weapons at all. The absolute worst part of the experience is the story. Every chapter or whatever has exactly the same structure of thing is broken, find arbitrary crafting parts to fix it, yay, do it again. This repeats like 5 or so times, and then we're met with a pretty anticlimactic ending that is absolutely not worth playing through to see. It's not even worth spoiling here. The DLC adds a tiny bit of content, but $5 feels pretty steep when the base game is already lacking. The additional weapon is one of the better ones, but the new enemy and stage don't really add anything positive to the experience. It's a shame that this game left such a weak impression on me. The art is good, and it has some cool ideas, but it just falls short. The staff has pretty good credentials. Maybe a sequel could be really cool, but this game, I give it a 90% off.